Today I'm going to talk about how to properly clean a PTAC unit. Some of the tools that will be required will be a cordless drill, 12-in-1 screwdriver, and a precision flathead. Also, another item to use will be a cart, so you can take the unit down to properly wash it. Now this particular PTAC has 4 screws. You have 2 on each side. You have 1 at the top and 1 at the bottom, and then you have 1 also on the left hand side. So after you take those screws off, you want to disconnect the power, and that's most likely at the bottom, just depending. You want to just locate it where your power supply is. Alright, I pulled out the PTAC sleeve, and as you can see, the sleeve itself is just a little dirty. So this will be a part of your PM. This will be just done once a year. Same thing with the sleeve. You just want to take it out. Now, a few things I've noticed after I had pulled the unit out that's not good for the unit is that the door on these PTACs right here, they have a fresh air door which allows outside air in. Well, in this particular unit, this is how I found the door when I pulled it out. So what's happening is during the summer, it's taking the outside humid air and actually allowing that outside air to come in through here and come out through this coil. So if you notice with the unit out, the coil is not too bad, but what I'm going to show you is what's really dirty is the actual fan motor. So if you notice, it's a little bit dirty here because that's from the outside, so that's normal. And if you see inside the PTAC itself, it's a little dirty. But the problem of most of your air conditioning issues are right here inside this cage, and I'll show you in the squirrel fan that there's a lot of dust and dirt in there. So now we're going to take the unit outside and see what it looks like from after it's taken apart. Alright, now that I have the unit outside, there's several screws you want to take off. You got a couple screws here. You got a couple screws right here, and also right here. Basically, you're just looking at the pattern. And if you notice right here, after I pull these 2 off right here, you take the cover off, and you got a couple screw holes here, and then you got a couple down here. What you want to do is, after that's pulled off, this unit is just going to pop off. You just set it down, okay? And that's how it sits there. You want to take this stuff off. And then basically, once that's off, pretty much you just want to pull up. And you can see right here how this is coming up. Now that you're doing this, you can get to the actual squirrel cage and take a look at it. Now, by popping off this cover, if you notice right here, it's got a little lip. So it slips under right here. So it clips in there. But if you look at it now I can get into the squirrel cage and clean this better. And if you look, you have a better access to the squirrel cage itself. So now the next step I'm going to do is take this plate off here, and this actually gets to the heat strips, which now allows me to get behind this coil. And again, just look at your pattern here, and there's several screws, and that will take off that clip. So I'm going to take those off, and then we'll take a look at the heat strip. Now, as you can see, I've got the heat strip coil out, and that'll give you a better understanding how the heat strip works. And if you look around there, you can actually see that you have some dirt and debris around it. If you look at the cover, you see how that's all dirty? That's all dust and dirt, needs to come off. And then if you look, you can see in the back of the coil how dirty it is. So even though the front coil looked good, but this shows you that back coil was still dirty. So that gives you a good idea how it needs to be cleaned. Now, if you notice, so you can see sunlight or daylight through that coil as I go up and down. But if you have that mold spores on there, that odor is going to stay there until it's completely gone. Okay, I've gone ahead and pulled out the heat strip, and if you notice, it almost looks like brand new. Got all the mold, the spores out. The next thing you're going to do now is cover the electronics, and then I'm gonna soak the coils. And as you can see, I just took a toothbrush and cleaned the fan motor, and it looks pretty good, but I'm going to clean it because the odor is still attached to that fan motor. So I'm going to put some coil cleaner on it and clean it, and you can see like here how dirty the coil is. So when I get done, this all should look pretty good. Now if you look, I'm going to clean the coils, and you can see how dirty they are by just taking it out. You see the debris. You see on the ground the little black debris coming out. That's just dust coming out of the unit. That's just dirt. And all you want to do is just sit there and hose it down, and then give it a good old wipe when you're done. But the best way to do it is by cleaning the coil really good. Alright, here I'm doing the back side of the condenser coil now. You can see that I put the coil cleaner on there. I went ahead and washed out the back of the unit. You can see all the dirty water there. You all can see that I also did the fan. And I'm doing the coil again because I keep getting debris out of there. So doing it a couple times is actually okay. And you want to let it sit in there 5 or 10 minutes because you want that coil cleaner to set into the coils and get down and deep, because remember, the odor comes from right here. If you've got any of the dirt or anything on that fan motor, when that fan starts spinning, that's what moves the air, and that's what's going to give the odor and put the odor in the room, and that's what's going to give your guests complaints of PTAC units with odor. Alright, as you see, I'm going to start rinsing the coil, and you're going to see how dirty this water is and how black. It's very important that gets clean. And you can see how it's just dirt. But that stuff builds up. Right there, you can see all that dirt coming out. Right there, that's dirt in that coil, and it's not allowing the air to flow through. So very important that you're getting out, and all I'm doing right here is just hosing it down. With the unit all put back together now you just want to dry it out, and just now you're ready to go ahead and put into the sleeve and start the operation. But as you can tell, everything's put back, it's clean. Just got to close that door and we're good to go. And now you're going to see on the front coil, you'll see all the debris that'll come out of here. And as you can see on the coil, there's little black dots right there, all through there. But that's inside that coil. That traps it. And as that coil gets dirty, it can't breathe properly. So you want to make sure you rinse the coil properly.